I shall now be speaking about how to differentiate infective from non-infective uveitis. Although the most cases of uveitis are considered to be immune-mediated disorders, but certain forms of uveitis are caused by infectious agent. While immune-mediated uveitis respond to steroid and other immunosuppressives, such therapy may be devastating in cases with infectious causes. It is highly desirable to differentiate, but it not always possible as both may have similar clinical presentations. Around 15 to 20% cases of uveitis can be infectious, so a careful workup of patient is required because generally we tend to give steroid or other immunosuppressive in these cases. In case of high suspicion, systemic examination and investigation by an internist must. For all the types of infections in the eye, these are the infections according to age. In children less than 4 years, the common ones are toxoplasma, CMV, retinitis, syphilis, rubella. Between 5 to 15 years, toxocara, toxoplasma. And in the adult age group of 16 to 40, other infections like Lyme disease, candidiasis, toxoplasma. And in more than 40, you have herpetic necrotizing retinitis, tuberculosis, toxoplasma. AIDS and tuberculosis can occur at any age, and if you see a patient with HIV, other infections which are very common, which are commonly seen in these are CMV retinitis, herpes retinitis, tuberculosis, toxoplasma, mycobacterium, etc. So the most common infection, these are the list of all the infectious causes of uveitis. To differentiate infectious causes from non-infectious, one should look at the age of the patient, history, whether the patient had any symptoms or signs of systemic infection like something started with a fever, skin rash, etc. Systemic condition already there in the patient, clinical presentation and laboratory investigations. So diagnosis of any of these infections is usually based on pattern of uveitis, systemic symptom and signs, specific epidemiological data and confirmed by detection of specific antibody in serum. We look at different forms of uveitis now. In anterior uveitis, around 60% cases are non-granulomatous, and generally these are immune mediated. In granulomatous can be both infectious as well as non-infectious. The infectious cause of granulomatous anterior uveitis are tuberculosis, syphilis, herpes. Sometimes there is a typical presentation like in herpes zoster where there is a corneal involvement, or sometimes you see a sector isotrophy. Syphilis as a cause of anterior uveitis can sometimes show iris rosacea, which are dilated iris vessels, but tuberculosis, which is thought to be quite common in India, has no pathogenic sign. And if there is any history of a systemic infection and immune mediated disease, then accordingly one can look at the cause of anterior uveitis. In intermediate uveitis, majority are immune mediated, but always rule out syphilis because this can cause all forms of uveitis. In area which is endemic to Lyme disease, one should take history of fever, rash, and then even go for serology. In children, sometimes intermediate uveitis can be mimicked by toxocara, and tuberculosis again can have similar presentation. In posterior uveitis, one should try to differentiate whether this is primarily a retinitis or a choroiditis, because retinitis are generally infective and choroiditis can be both infective or immune mediated. Always take a detailed history of symptoms and then of systemic illness and clinical presentation. There are certain immune mediated syndromes which are seen in the eye which are very classical, like AMPPE, serpiginous, VKH, sympathetic ophthalmia. There is a history of trauma to one eye, Behçet's disease or sarcoidosis, and certain infection causes like acute retinal necrosis, which has a very typical presentation and can be diagnosed just by clinical examination, and also retinitis like cytomegalovirus, which has a painted retina like picture, or herpes. And in the presence of HIV patient, retinitis are much more common, which are generally infective because the patient is immunocompromised. So to differentiate between retinitis and choroiditis, retinitis looks more whitish, has a lot of hemorrhages, it has ill-defined margin, and there is a severe overlying vitritis. Whereas in choroiditis it is yellowish, ill-defined margins, retinal vessels can be seen over it. Vitritis is either absent or very mild. This is an example of AMPP, which if you see the vitreous is absolutely clear, and there are placoid lesions in the posterior pole. In serpiginous, again, the vitreous is absolutely clear, and you see one as the lesions are healing and other as it is progressing. So these are very typical presentation, and one can easily just diagnose on clinical examination, and they are all immune mediated. Again, VKH, which has a very classical presentation of exudative detachment in the retina with panuveitis, and on fluorescein angiography you can see a starry sky-like picture which is classical, and there is a pooling of dye in the late phase in the subretinal space because of detachment of the retina. Tuberculosis is a very common hot topic in uveitis, whether it's presumptive or definitive. Majority of the cases are presumptive because there is no pathogenic ophthalmic finding. There is similarity with other causes of uveitis. Difficulty to obtain a sample for demonstration of AFB and limitation of serological test, and lot of WHO even now has recommended not to use too many of these serological tests for active tuberculosis. In cases with miliary or disseminated tuberculosis, you can see choroidal tuberculosis, which can vary from 1 to 5 generally. Very rarely you have more, and in some cases you can have choroidal granuloma. But tubercular uveitis can mimic all forms of uveitis from anterior to posterior to panuveitis. This is a patient with miliary tuberculosis, and you see there are multiple tubercles, and this is how a choroidal granuloma looks like. Generally there is a one big one and there is a satellite lesion also. Toxoplasma retinochoroides again is very classical presentation. It is like a headlight in the fog with the severe vitritis, and the new lesion is seen adjacent to a healed lesion. This is diagnosed mainly clinically, and then you start first you take a sample for serology and start the treatment. ARN again is caused by herpes virus. It has a very typical presentation. It is seen in basically immunocompetent patients where there is a patchy retinitis usually appearing in the periphery, and with progression become increasingly confluent, and vitritis is there, and these patients they develop detachment also. So in spite of good clinical and laboratory workup, it is still not always possible to differentiate infective from immune mediated uveitis. If the patient worsens or fails to respond to corticosteroids, rethink your diagnosis and think of infectious causes. Thank you.